not the past.
Lisa has a plan to create new jobs.
We can count on Lisa.
On Tuesday, we're voting for Lisa.
Topeka is a great place to live, work, and raise a family, but we can make it even better. If elected your mayor, I promise to bring energy and new ideas to City Hall. On Tuesday, I'd appreciate your vote.
So right for you, right store, right price.
Buy by the case and save at Dillon's. Stock up and save on the groceries you use every week, like 12-pack cases of selected Kroger canned vegetables, just $3.99. Also this week, buy 1 carton of strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries for $3.99 and get a second free. And gallons of Dillon's milk or Kroger orange juice are 2 for $5. Now at Dillon's.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Leeds.
And I'm Bob Beatty. Welcome to 27 News Mayoral Forum. Joining us are candidates Bill Bunten and Lisa Stubbs.
In the next 25 minutes, we will hear where these two stand on the issues facing Topeka. Each will begin with 1-minute opening statements. Then Bob and I will ask questions sent in by 27 News viewers. Because of time constraints, each candidate will have just 30 seconds to respond. Then we will finish with closing statements from both.
We begin opening statements with Bill Bunten.
Thanks, Bob and Amy. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk to Topekans about what we see are the needs of this city and why we're candidates for the office of mayor. I'm a native Topekan, born and raised here, went to school here, a graduate of the University of Kansas, where I got a degree in business administration. I entered the Marine Corps and served for about 2.5 years with service in Japan and Korea as an infantry officer. Came back to Topeka, and with my brother, we operated an alfalfa dehydrating company which had plants in Kansas and Nebraska. I served in the state legislature from 1963 until 1990, and 2 years in the state senate. 4 years ago, I ran for this office and was defeated by Butch Felker by about 1,000 votes. I'm a candidate today because the things that I talked about then are still with us today. We need to grow and prosper, and I believe I can be helpful in that regard, and that's why I'm a candidate.
And now, Lisa Stubbs.
Thank you. My husband Tom and I have been proud to raise our 2 children, Chris and Chelsea, in Topeka. They're now 23 and 16 years old, and I want them, as I do all Topeka's children, to have job opportunities that will allow them to choose to live and raise their families in Topeka. Topeka is our home, and that's why I care so much about the future direction of our great city. That's why I ran for council 4 years ago. And it was over those 4 years that I have worked with you to make many positive changes in our community. I have personally listened to thousands of people share their thoughts, their concerns, and their dreams for Topeka. Recently, I worked with you to change our form of government to position Topeka for a brighter future. But there is still much work to be done. I will work hard for you every day to create new jobs, reduce crime, and make government more efficient. My educational background, my extensive community service, and my job and local government experience make me the best candidate for our new mayor position. I look forward to the challenges of serving you as Topeka's mayor and making it the best place to live, work, and raise a family.
All right, thanks to both of you, and let's get started with our questions. Our first question tonight begins with the job itself. When the city switches to a city manager council form of government on April 12th, the role of mayor will be reduced to figurehead of the city. The only power the position will hold is a veto on the city council. If elected, how do you see your role as mayor under the new form of government, and how do you plan to accomplish that? We begin with Lisa Stubbs.
Yes, I see my role as the new mayor's position as really being one of a consensus builder, making the collaborative efforts to work with the other partners that we have in our town to promote our great city, to bring economic development to our town, and to really further the policy directions of our city government. It is actually much more so of a facilitative position, although obviously that person will be the face of Topeka.
Mr. Bunten?
Well, we haven't defined for sure what the role of the mayor is. It's a new form of government. There are things in the charter ordinance that say that the mayor should do this and they should do that, but that doesn't say that there are certain things that they can't do. I believe that we should expect the mayor to be a liaison between the city council and the new city manager. In my instance, I'd like to have serious input into the budget process, and I believe finally that the mayor should promote the city council's policies.
One of the biggest issues facing the new form of government is consolidation. 27 News viewer Roy Berry wants to know, where do you stand on unilateral annexation and why? We'll start with Bill Bunten.
Well, we've had unilateral annexation in this city for many years, and I don't believe that we've actually used it for over 20 to 25 years. All the annexation that we've had has been voluntary, the people that wanted to be a part of the city. For those people that don't want to be a part of the city, I'm not for involuntary annexation. What we need to do is make this city the kind of city that people want to live in, that want to run a business in, that's safe and that's business friendly, and then people will want to be a part of this city.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Thank you. I believe that as the mayor, I am an advocate for the city of Topeka and for the residents. Unilateral annexation is not something that is used very often, but when it is used, it is important to make sure that we have that tool in our tool chest to be able to provide a tax equity for the citizens of Topeka. If in fact there are folks who are on the edges of our city who are receiving city services and not paying their full share, it's not fair to the citizens of Topeka and does continue the decay in our city if we don't have the funds.
Okay, thank you to both of you. Our next question comes from another viewer, 27 News viewer Jason Divis. He wants to know, if elected, what will be your role in the fight against crime? What specific plans do you have for reducing incidents? Lisa Stubbs.
Thank you. Actually, I think working with our chief of police to figure out the new directives that we should go. In our efficiency study, we listed lots of areas where we could change how we police, the number of officers we have on the street. I do believe that that will be critically important, getting their input and citizens' input to find out the neighborhood issues that we need to be addressing. I also would like to see us have more training for our officers. I think that's critically important in this day of constant changing crime in the city of Topeka.
Mr. Bunten?
The crime situation is not good in Topeka, but it is not the role of the mayor to make decisions about how best to fight it. That will be the decision of the city manager, and he will implement the policies of the council, and I imagine that those policies are going to include that we want to get tough on crime, get rid of these drugs, get rid of these gangs, get rid of these burglars and thieves that have been pillaging this city for all too long.
Our next question comes from another 27 News viewer, Bob Marin. He asks, how do we keep talented young people in Topeka when so many say the city is boring? We'll start with Bill Bunten.
Well, I don't think it's boring, but I can understand young people. I was probably the same way when I was their age. What we need to do is to grow this city and make it a good place to live and work and raise a family. Make it a place where jobs are plentiful. And if we do these things, if we make it the kind of city that it once was and can be again, then we won't have to worry about these young people having a job and wanting to stay in this city.
Lisa Stubbs.
Well, actually, I think they've been talking to my children. Actually, having a 23 and a 16-year-old, I think, gives me a good perspective on what we need. They're looking for job opportunities, jobs that are creative, jobs where they have a future where they can grow. So we need to bring those kinds of new jobs to our city. We also need to provide the quality of life issues that they're looking for. It may mean expanding trail systems. It may mean a variety of other recreational opportunities. Again, I think that's something that we need to get as input from as many citizens as possible so we can get the direction on where they would like us to go on these very pertinent issues.
All right, thanks to both of you. There is still more to come on our 27 News Mayoral Forum. Find out where these candidates stand on allowing portable signs in the capital city and whether they would support a smoking ban in public places.
The 27 News First Warning Highway Freezecast, brought to you by Young's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Appliance Repair. Let Young's do it.
Hi folks, Jerry O'Neill, Continental Siding Supply. We're the fastest growing seamless vinyl siding company in America. We're now opening in St. Louis, and we need 24 houses to use as training facilities to train siding installers to transfer to St. Louis. If you ever thought about having seamless vinyl siding, you'd like to save thousands, call today.
The most comfortable call you can make. Continental Siding.
Wow. Try our Italian BMT in a whole new way. Fresh toasted, Genoa salami, pepperoni, ham, freshly baked bread, bubbly hot cheese, and toasted to perfection. Subway, eat fresh.
You don't want a burger for dinner. You want a fresh and delicious Subway sub.
Okay. But what about you?
I'll figure something out.
Hurry into Subway restaurants after 4 p.m. and get 4 regular 6-inch subs for just $10.99. Subway, eat fresh.
And welcome back to this 27 News mayoral debate. Our next question has to do with those portable signs you've seen in the news. Topeka City Council has wrestled with the issue of how to regulate portable signs for more than a year. Recently, Council once again postponed action on the issue for another 6 months. Where do you stand on whether to allow portable signs and why? Mrs. Stubbs, you get the honor of starting.
Thank you. It is a tough issue, and that's why I think the council has struggled so greatly with that. We have looked at it in many different regards. I believe that there is something to be said about some restrictions with regards to those signs. But as far as the business community is concerned, we need to address their issues as well. So I am in favor of looking at it in a larger impact so that we can have the businesses have their opportunity for their say to make sure we aren't harming those businesses. The last thing we would want to do is to harm our small businesses in the city of Topeka.
Mr. Bunten?
Well, we have too many signs in Topeka. There's no question about that, but they're not private business signs. They're government signs. If you look at this city, you'll find that there are more signs all over this city than in any other that I've been in Kansas. It is harmful to the aura of the area, and we need to reduce those. As far as the signs that we're talking about here that small businesses use to advertise their specials or their lunch of the day or whatever it may be, they need to be kept in good repair, but very definitely they should be available to our small businesses.
Our next question comes from a 27 News viewer. She asks, both of you have talked about cleaning up the capital city. What specifically do you plan to do to clean up Topeka if elected mayor? And we begin with Bill Bunten.
Well, the first thing we need to do is to take care of our own infrastructure. Our curbings, our gutters, the medians at important intersections, neighborhoods that have homes that are boarded up and condemned and need to be raised. All of those things need to be taken care of. Overall, we just need to keep it in good condition and take care of our property. And if we do that, if we're able to make this, clean this city up, it will benefit all of us because we'll get increased value in the property that we own here.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes. I would agree that we do need to take care of our infrastructure. Part of the problem with what we have had so far is that if we don't want to raise taxes on our citizens, which I think most people would say they don't, we have to come up with the money to be able to take care of these needs. One of those areas is to grow our economy so that we will have the tax base that will be necessary so that we can do a better job of caring for infrastructure. I would also like to see us work more closely with our neighborhood associations to find out the issues that they struggle with and help our code department enforce the ordinances we have on the books.
A majority of Topeka voters recently cast their ballots to keep an ordinance that prohibits the city from using sexual orientation in its hiring practices. For the record, were you for or against that ordinance passing? Where do you stand on bringing the issue back up again in the city council? I think some people are still unclear as to where our candidates stand on that. Bill Bunten?
Well, the city council passed an ordinance that kept made people who are gay a protected class as far as getting a job with the city. But In answer to your question, I don't favor that. I don't think it should be a protected class, and I would certainly oppose any expansion of that.
So you wanted the March 1st ballot question to pass?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Lisa Stubbs?
Thank you. I had some concerns with regards to the legality of that particular issue when it came before council, and I did vote twice against the protected class ordinance when it came up for council. So I guess you would say I was in favor of the ballot question, but for a variety of procedural issues as well that I think that we just have not addressed a process by which we would allow a different group to come in as a protected class. At this point, I believe the voters have spoken, and I think that it should stay as it is until the voters would speak otherwise.
Okay, moving along, 27 News viewer Gary Carruthers wants to know, where do you stand on the city having a smoking ban in public places, similar to the one that our friends to the east in Lawrence have put in place? Mrs. Stubbs, you will answer first.
That's a real tough question because we haven't had an opportunity to research that. I would certainly be in favor of at least looking at the potential of doing that. Actually, Lawrence has done it, but many other cities across the country have moved in that direction as well. It's obviously a public health issue, and so I would like to see the research that's been done on that and the other communities that have made that transition. What has the effect been on their economy?
Okay, Mr. Bunten.
Well, the question said in all public places, and I wouldn't favor that. Clearly, smoking is a hazard. I don't smoke, and it does bother me from time to time. But to ban it in all public places seems to be severe. We already have it banned in restaurants and in other places, but some people like to have a smoke now and then, and I don't know that we should ban it completely in all public places, and I'd be against that.
Well, even though the mayoral salary has been lowered, we're still going to ask difficult questions. What do you think is the best way to attract new companies and maintain existing companies in Topeka, Mr. Bunten?
The best way to do that is what I've been saying throughout this campaign, and that is to make this city, first of all, well cared for, clean, tidy. We've got to make it safe. We've got to make it business friendly, and that includes trying to lower our taxes. And we've got to have good schools. If you don't have those four things, it's going to be difficult to bring new businesses to this city or to keep the ones that we have here and are growing, to keep them here.
Mrs. Stubbs?
I think our chamber has done a fabulous job of bringing over 1,800 new jobs in the time we have had our quarter-cent sales tax. I think we need to build and expand upon what they have been able to accomplish. I see the mayor's role as being one of promoting our town. We have to like ourselves and be proud of ourselves to be able to put that kind of a positive image out there for those businesses that would like to come here. And then we need to have very good dialogue with the businesses that are currently here, as we do on an annual basis, to find out what is it that you need that we can do for you as a city to help you to grow and to thrive in your business. A lot of those are the incentives that we have used, as well as job training. Just the list is endless, but we've done a very good job.
And you're both doing a great job of keeping within our time constraints tonight as well. And we have a little extra time, so take a deep breath and you can slow down a little bit on this next one. And these questions are directed towards your campaign platforms. Mrs. Stubbs, your ads that we've seen on television say you have a plan to bring new jobs to Topeka. Tell us, what is that plan?
My plan is to work as a facilitator to be part of the groups that are already here that are helping to provide the job growth in our city. We have Go Topeka, we have the Chamber of Commerce, we have lots of active business groups and communities, as well as we have the Joint Economic Development Organization, which is the one who decides how to spend our quarter-cent sales tax dollars. I think to work with them, to partner with these groups, we don't need to develop a new group to do this. We need to make the partnerships of what we have work for the city of Topeka.
Mr. Bunten? Actually, not the same question. You have a different question because this is a platform base. You have repeatedly said you want to make the Topeka 501 school district more efficient. How, as mayor, will you do that?
Well, I haven't said that I wanted to make them more efficient. What I have said is that I believe that they should budget in a manner that lay people like you and I and Lisa and Bob can read it and understand where that money is spent. I'm not suggesting that they need more money or need less money. What I have suggested is that we be able to read that budget and see where, in the case of USD 501, $143 million, $11,000 per student is spent.
And how, as mayor, do you plan to do that?
The mayor needs to be aware of all of the things that are important in this community, and certainly education is one. We have a school board that runs the schools and sets their policies, what have you. But for those of us who live in USD 501 and have seen the problems that we've had with it last summer, the transcripts weren't ready on time, the busing problems in the fall, the loss of $515,000, those things are of concern to us, and I believe it is the obligation of all citizens, not just the mayor or the council or the school board, to pay attention to what's going on in our schools and to insist that they be the best that they can be.
Do we have time to ask Mrs. Stubbs if you think that's the proper role of the mayor, to be, sounds like, getting involved in the schools? Quickly.
Actually, I think that the mayor's role should be one of partnering with our school districts. We don't get involved in their budgeting or their policy decisions. I think that is something that their school board needs to be accountable for. Certainly, we have enough issues at the city to be looking at, and we wouldn't want them trying to run our city either. But what we can do is partner in those areas where we do have common issues. The sports park was one of those where we helped with some of the infrastructure needs while they were building the sports park, as well as crime issues, truancy issues. If there's something that policing-wise we can do, I would like to be able to be a part of that problem solving.
Okay. Earlier, we asked you about what the mayor's role will be under the new form of government. What kind of city manager do you think Topeka needs and why? And you each have 15 seconds, starting with Mr. Bunten. Half the time, sorry.
Well, the city manager needs to be someone who is educated and experienced in the running of the day-to-day operations of our city government. He needs to be someone who will effectively implement the policies of the council, and we'll look hard for that kind of a person. I hope that it can be someone from Kansas or the Midwest, so that they will be aware of the kind of culture that we have here and the kind of politics that we have here.
Okay, and that's all our time, Mrs. Stubbs.
Yes, I would like someone who has lots of municipal experience so they can bring what they have learned in their other jobs to Topeka. Someone who is creative, energetic, a good communicator is going to be key. They're going to be working with council members and a mayor, as well as lots of people in the public. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and that is all the time we have for questions. We will hear more from the candidates, have their closing statements for you in just a moment. Stay with us.
Here's today's Daily Dose from St. Francis Health Center.
About 3 million people in the U.S. are legally blind and have difficulty with simple daily tasks like choosing a washing machine setting. If you have difficulty seeing, the St. Francis Low Vision Program specialist can show you assistive devices and other strategies to enhance your quality of life. For more information, call 295-5360.
Watch for Daily Dose every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from St. Francis Health Center. Technology to heal, compassion to connect.
Smooth ride.
Tons of room.
345 horses. It's an all-star.
And it just hauls.
V8 power, 0% financing. You gotta love those numbers. Bonus cash.
5-star front crash test rating.
Hurry in now and join over 1 million proud new owners during the Dodge Spring Sales event to get the most award-winning lineup in our history. Now, qualified returning Daimler Chrysler lessees can lease a Durango SLT with a Hemi V8 for just $249 a month.
Big interior.
Big savings.
I'm Brian Williams. Tonight, public school officials accused of stealing millions. Investigators say tax money earmarked for education was used instead for luxury travel, glamorous jewelry, suits, and more. The fleecing of America tonight on NBC Nightly News.
27 News closed captioning, brought to you by St. Francis Health Center.
And welcome back. It is now time for our candidates' closing statements. We begin with Lisa Stubbs. You have just under a minute, about 50 seconds to respond.
I'll cut my words a bit. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the citizens of Topeka for caring enough about their mayor candidate that they're watching this forum tonight to see what the candidates stand for. You know, if you don't vote, your voice is not heard. My parents always taught me to work hard for the things that I believe in, and I believe in Topeka. That's why I'm working so hard to be your mayor. My plan for Topeka is very straightforward, but building a better Topeka will not happen by accident. It starts with the quality of the people that you elect into positions of leadership in our community. I promise you that I will work hard and bring new energy and unmatched enthusiasm to this mayor's position. I promise to always approach my elected position with keeping in mind that I am a public servant and not just a politician. On Tuesday, I'd appreciate your vote.
Okay, Mr. Bunten.
Well, this is my city. I was born and raised here, went to school here, married here. I have one son that still lives here. I've been active in it in many ways. 28 years in the Kansas House of Representatives, the last 2 years in the state Senate. But I'm not satisfied that things are going very well, and if people are, well, then they don't have any reason to make a change. But things haven't gone so well here. There has been no growth. We have high crime rates, regardless of what actually has happened, it's perceived that way. We've got problems that need to be fixed, and I think I can help. And that's why I'm running. And I hope that if you agree with me that we need to make some changes. We've changed our form of government. Now's the time to change the people that are in that government. If you think that's true, then I would hope that you would vote for me on April 5th.
Thank you, Bill Bunten. Thank you, Lisa Stubbs, for taking part in our mayoral forum.
And for those of you who would like to watch it again, or maybe you missed part of it, starting tomorrow morning, you can watch it at our website, ksnt.com. Also, be sure to join us next Tuesday for complete coverage of all the city and school board elections. You can count on us for the latest results, live interviews, and in-depth analysis with Washburn University political science professor Bob Beatty. Good night.
Age bias, a big win for millions of workers over 40. The U.S. Supreme Court just made it easier to sue the boss for age discrimination.